Once upon a time, in a quaint snowy village, there lived a young girl named Bella, whose heart was full of dreams but whose courage often wavered. She spent her days dancing and practicing in front of the mirror, imagining herself on grand stages. Yet, every time she faced a challenge, self-doubt crept in, and she feared she might freeze in front of an audience. One evening, as she stood in front of the mirror, frustrated, her sister Rose walked in with a gentle smile. "If we keep practicing, you'll be ready," Rose said kindly. "But what if I freeze out there? What if I'm not good enough?" Bella replied, fear in her voice. Rose knelt beside her and said, "You just need to find the courage to try, just like Clara did." Bella's brow furrowed in confusion. "Clara?" Rose nodded and began to tell the story of a girl from long ago. Clara was a young girl who had faced hardships that most could never imagine. After losing both of her parents at a young age, Clara and her little brother Tommy were raised by their stern grandfather Grayson. Though Grayson loved them deeply, his strict ways often felt like a heavy burden on Clara's shoulders. "Clara, please no more daydreaming. We must finish decorating before the guests arrive," Grayson would say, his voice hard but caring. Clara's thoughts, however, would often wander to faraway places as she decorated their humble home. On one such evening, just as Clara was finishing up the final touches on the decorations, a family friend named Elizabeth arrived, full of tales from her travels around the world. "I've sailed across the ocean, hiked the Great Wall of China, and even met an emperor," she said, eyes sparkling. "Elizabeth, please don't fill Clara's head with such stories. She needs to focus on more important things than dreams of adventure," Grayson reprimanded. "But Clara deserves to see the wonders of the world," Elizabeth retorted. Clara, caught between her grandfather's sternness and Elizabeth's adventures, could only imagine what it would be like to see the world beyond her small village. Little did she know, her life was about to change forever. One evening, during a grand celebration, a magical gift arrived. A wooden nutcracker. A warrior dressed in the finest attire. Bella was entranced by it, and Tommy, ever the mischief maker, remarked, "It's ugly." "Perhaps on the outside," Clara replied softly, "but I believe it has a heart of a prince." To her surprise, the nutcracker nodded as if he could understand. That night, Clara's world began to twist into a fantastic adventure. As she slept, Clara's dreams were invaded by a dark and sinister force. The Mouse King, a malevolent creature who had taken over their kingdom, cursed Clara's beloved Nutcracker, transforming him into a wooden soldier. The Mouse King's army was vast, and no one seemed to be able to stop him. In the midst of this chaos, Clara discovered a secret. She was no ordinary girl. She was the Sugar Plum Princess, the only one with the power to defeat the Mouse King and restore peace to the kingdom. But to find the answers, she had to cross the dangerous Sea of Storms, a treacherous path only the bravest could navigate. With the Nutcracker by her side, Clara embarked on a perilous journey to find the magical Sugar Plum Princess who could break the curse. Along the way, they encountered many challenges: fierce snow fairies, enchanted forests, and armies of mice. Through every obstacle, Clara grew stronger. She had to face her fears, step into the unknown, and trust in herself. The Nutcracker, once a simple wooden toy, began to reveal his true nature. A prince cursed by the Mouse King, seeking redemption. But together, they discovered that the strength to defeat their enemy did not come from magic alone. One day, as they stood at the edge of a vast frozen lake, the Nutcracker turned to Clara and said, "You are more than just a princess. You've always had the power to change the world around you. The magic was in you all along." Despite the Mouse King's magic, Clara's courage shone brighter. She led an army of villagers, fairies, and friends to the heart of the Mouse King's palace, where an epic showdown awaited. The Nutcracker, now fully restored to his prince form, stood by her side. But Clara's true power lay in her heart, in the kindness, bravery, and determination she had nurtured all along. With one final act of courage, Clara unlocked the full force of her magic. She broke the Mouse King's curse, freeing the kingdom and restoring peace. But in doing so, she discovered something far greater. She had become the leader her people needed. When Clara returned to her grandfather's home, the world seemed different. The lessons learned from her journey stayed with her. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. Dreams aren't meant to remain dreams. They are meant to be lived. Her grandfather Grayson, who had always been stern and practical, saw the change in Clara. "You've grown, Clara. Perhaps there's more to life than what I've taught you." Clara smiled, now filled with a quiet confidence. "Yes, grandfather. And I'll teach Tommy too." As Clara and the Nutcracker, now the prince, stood together, they knew that their journey was just beginning. The lessons they had learned, the importance of believing in oneself, of facing challenges with courage, and of following your heart, were not just for them, but for everyone around them. The once ordinary Nutcracker had become a king, not because of his wooden form, but because of his heart. And Clara, the sugar plum princess, realized that she was never just a princess, she was a leader. Through bravery, kindness, and the strength to keep going, they had defeated darkness and restored light to their world. Moral of the story: the story of Clara and the Nutcracker teaches us that true courage comes not from the absence of fear, but from the ability to face it head-on. Our dreams are not bound by circumstances, they are within us all along, waiting for the courage to be realized. No matter how small or insignificant we may feel at times, we all possess the power to change our world and inspire others to do the same.